Alright, so we are testing out the new Brick Eyes White Dragon deck. Alright, so we have some new Blue Eyes White Dragon action I wanted to play test. So, you guys check out our friends down below at tradingcardmint.com and enter them code 40 and save to purchase. So, not a lot has changed with Blue Eyes for the quote-unquote new tools that you got, because the deck is still going to pretty much play fundamentally the same way. The only real options that you now have are, do you want to go down Quasi and try to do like the massive revive, because that means that your extra deck needs to have the extra little support in it to be able to go down it, which is the Crimson Dragon stuff, which is the build I do prefer, because but the problem with going down Quasi is it might just be better just to go down the Stardust Dragon line, just to have the cipher set up. So there's something to discuss there. But we are playing still 2 Blue Eyes White Dragon. You don't deviate from this point. 2 is just fine. We do play this. This is the new Blue Eyes. This thing says when added from deck to hand, you can reveal it to special summon it. So if I draw it off Fu, I can reveal it, special it, and then I can board wipe my opponent. Which is hilarious for whatever reason that they just gave Blue Eyes the ability to destroy everything. And of course, when a card effect is activated that targets this thing, I can discard a card, right? Yeah. I can discard a card to negate that effect. So, in against Loudness War, for example, if they were to target this, I can chain his effect to negate the effect targeting him to ensure that the board wipe does actually trigger. You've also got the ability to pull this off of the best Bastille in the whole wide world, Mr. Magnahut, whose job is to also search for this, just to kind of ensure that you can get the board wipe. You choose to play it as a 1-of because, once again, it is a free special. I wish its name was also Blue Eyes White Dragon while on the field, because that would just be absolutely amazing. But unfortunately, it's Blue Eyes White Dragon, the mythical Phantom Beast. So, things that specifically mention Blue Eyes White Dragon don't get the ability to interact with this. But for a hand trap that you can draw, for the ability to special summon and pop, this card is very much a huge candidate for what you want to be seeing. We are also playing Triple Maiden. You don't get away from playing this. It also is your level 1. It's your revive. She's still kind of the heart and soul of the deck, no matter how much you want to try to change this. We're also going with triple copies of Sage. Sage is your searcher. He searches for Veiler, which is pretty good right now, at least from testing. Also, he can go and send and bring out a Blue Eyes, depending on how you open up, if you have to target the Maiden. So it really just depends on your lines of play that you have to open. We've also got triple copies of Barrel. There is no reason for you not to be playing triple of this in the deck. I know some early builds were like, you can deviate down to 2, but I don't think you can really afford the not to play this. This card is just too good. Hand traps, you are still going to play triple Veiler. Or excuse me, triple Ash. This card is still cracked for this deck and will continue to be. Because of the new Blue Eyes, and no, we're not going to magically play multiple of the new Blue Eyes to try to get the interaction. You're just going to stick with 3 Fua with the 1 Blue Eyes if you do choose to play it. Once again, you go second, you Fua, you draw into it, you reveal it, you get a board wipe. If you don't, it's okay, because you can Magnahut end phase clear your opponent's board anyway. So you've got options with Fua. It's just funny that Fua has given you those really funny interactions now to do that. We are also playing triple copies of Veiler. I think triple Veiler's fine now, honestly. Ghost Bell still feels like a very, very good card when it needs to, but the takeaway here is Veiler is still going to be another level 1 light spellcaster that you can extend with. More times than not, being able to paralyze the opponent off of this still feels way better than pretty much any other lines of play. So I think we're going to stick to this, because this is pretty good. We're also going with triple Droll. You just want to make sure that Droll is going to... We're in a format where, your opponent's going to be doing a quadrillion tons of searching anyway. So getting the Droll to stick and punishing them is pretty strong. So, I mean, that's your hand trap lineup. You don't really get anything else too exciting out of this. We've also got triple copies of your spell or searcher. Are we scared of Droll? I mean, yes, Droll does shut off our combo. The deck's got enough ways to kind of deviate around playing versus Droll. It's just, you gotta see it. Still playing the one revive from Banish. You never go beyond this. Honestly, I know people have talked about trying to play multiple, but it's just not worth it. I draw this card like it's my job, but as long as you draw it, I mean, it's good enough, right? Free Blue Eyes Dump is very good. Going with triple Lordly Load. I also remember some of the very early lists were only trying to play 2 of these, but for all intents and purposes, maximize this. We are doing one drill beam. Right now, I think one drill... Actually, I think for most of where we are right now, drill beam is not good enough to be a card that you can sustain playing multiples of anymore. The deck just feels way too clunky. And if you were trying to play, like, maybe in the side deck, I'd consider an extra one, but you've got to remember... The current metagame is just able to extend so far out with its combo lines that Drill Beam is just going to be a potential check, and you're going to have multiple other things to help out. Called by the Grave, this stops us getting Droll and Lockbirded. Feels super good. One True Light, you are never going to go beyond this. If you're trying to play multiple True Light, you've got issues. We have the Majesty of the pop the opponent's cards. I hate this card with a passion, but you have to play it because it pops too, and that's absolutely free value. If not, it's discard fodder. We also play the triple Dominus. I think the Dominus is more important in this deck than trying to play Imperm. Right? I mean, there's an argument for either or, but I think Dominus just ensures, if you see it, you're able to go. Unfortunately, we didn't see it, so not really much you can do about that, I feel like. And then we do have our extra deck. So we are playing 2 copies of the Spirit Dragon. I think this is fine. The third never comes up. I feel like if the third is coming up, you're just going to be massively disappointed in the play lines as it is. We're back to 1 Spheres. 2 Spheres in playtesting has also never come up. I feel like you're a deck that you have to get your game set up, you don't get to grind anymore. Or at least the current build doesn't allow for grinding to actually set up. We are playing the 1 Lina. Lina just ensures that I can take a light from the opponent's graveyard to set up. We are playing the SP. This gives us answers to problematic cards. 2 Spirit Dragons for the tag out, which is fine. We only play 1 copy of the Big Blue Eyes. We play the Spirit Dragon to attack from defense mode because this card is just the nuts. I love getting, 25 plus 33. So, I mean, it's just a game breaker. I played this for the Spell and Trap Pop. And then I did have this in the deck. In a situation where I get, nibbed or something, and if I can get another level 1 on the field, we can just make this to revive and just bring back the whole farm and keep going. And this ends up being a negate. It is a lot harder to make in this build because we are not doing the Crimson Dragon playline to access this, because Spirit Dragon into the Crimson, or into the level 12, and then you go into the Crimson, and then you do the bounce off. That's not what you are doing with this. I really wish you could, but you just don't have the room in the extra deck to support it. We are playing 2 copies of the Tyrant Dragon. You played the second one because the spell card fusion does actually come up for this, which is hilarious. We also play the 1 Equip Blue Eyes that you're going to bring out just to be able to send this to do your thing, and then we play 1 copy of Typhon. Honestly, for the way that the deck feels, I probably am going to experiment around with the extra deck a little bit. I do want to play Crimson Dragon again with the Stardust. It feels too good not to have. There's also an argument to play the Almarduke in here to make the SP, so that you can also make life easier off of the Almarduke. But it really just kind of depends on play lines and where we kind of go from here. But this card does invest some argument to explore, because it is pretty cool for what it is. So that is our Blue Eyes conversation for today. So check out our friends down at tradingcardmint.com. Enter MCO40 and save on your purchase. You guys have a good rest of your day, all right? Patrons! Thank you!
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.